Hi, my name is Eric and this is my channel Himbo. Welcome. Today I'm going to be talking about Star Trek comics. I recently read a post about a Trekkie saying they don't like the comics, they don't read the comics or the bulk novels because they're not canon. And technically they're beta canon, meaning they don't really affect the main canon, and unless for some reason the main canon decides to reference them. And that has happened a few times, but not very little, as far as I know. And so But the thing is, in my mind, even in official canon, there's been a lot of Star Trek that hasn't been great in terms of story quality and offensive in some cases, and yet technically they're canon. Even if it's not going to be ever official canon, in my mind, a good story is a good story. I want to use this video to showcase a few titles from throughout the history of Star Trek comics to showcase, starting with Star Trek Starfleet Academy. This was a great series written by Chris Cooper, featuring Nog and several other candidates. There was a human, a Betazoid, Andorian, and a Vulcan that turned out to be a Romulan spy. Spoilers. But yeah, it was a great series following them, what it's like to be in TNG era of Starfleet Academy. Next up is Star Trek Voyager, Avalon Rising. Now this is a great series written uh, by the Youngs and art by David Roach, I believe. Um, this one had the Doctor going traveling down to a medieval society and kind of having to thread the line with the Prime Directive. Along the way, he meets a squire who has lost his knight, and which basically is a bad thing because he has also lost his honor in a society where might is right, and he's basically useless and unwanted by anybody. And it's through the Doctor's time with him that he learns his true value is inherent and cannot be taken away, and learns the lessons from Starfleet and takes it with him even as the Doctor leaves. Here's another favorite of mine, a Star Trek annual. Let's see, this is number 3 from 1988 by Peter David. And this is another thing what I love about these stories is in the original series, the animated series, the movies, we never got much story behind Scotty's life. I mean, it was obviously more about Captain Kirk, Spock, and occasional McCoy, while everybody else was kind of left with really bits and pieces of backstory. And that was a great story because it starts with a love story in verse. It shows the ending and how it began with one of his first loves of his life. And it's just a really heartfelt, sweet story, also beautiful art by Kurt Swan. And another thing is that it can, with the Star Trek series comics, it can just kind of like I said, it can just kind of go where the series, for whatever reasons, is unable to go to. And here's another one, the Star Trek IDW volume number 13 trade paperback, featuring Leonard Leonard Nimoy's Spock. And this was written after let me back up a little bit. This series was set in the Kelvin Star Trek universe, so it follows Prime Spock navigating the Kelvin universe and how he's trying to do the same thing he tried to do in TNG, which was bring peace between Romulan and Vulcan. And so it's just a beautiful story that was written after his passing. After that, after the Kelvin universe line ended, we got Star Trek Year 5. It's written by, Jackson Lansing, Colin Kelly. This was a great writing team duo that followed the original seniors crew about after what would have been the season 3, and it really does a great job of kind of capturing that spirit of the original TOS show by having notable by having not only dramatic but humorous stories as well. We're gonna end it on my personal favorite, my personal current favorite, Star Trek Defiant. This is written by Christopher Cantwell, and it has a great crew of outsiders. It's got Worf, Lana Torres, Ro Lauren, um, a Orion who who dabbles in drug making, and Spock. It's a very unlikely crew, but all of them really mesh together well, and just their interactions just make for a dynamic read. Um, and then there's also just plenty of other good titles right now, like Lower Decks. There's a choose your own adventure style of Lower Decks called Warp Your Own Way that I highly recommend as well. And there's also another Christopher Cantwell story called Red Shirts that features a TOS era squad of security officers who are involved in secret operation to find out who is stealing secret information. And it's unfortunately a bit of a bloodbath. Think something like the Dirty Dozen, but with Starfleet officers. Not to say that all of the comics or all of the novels are great. There are a bit of ones that aren't so great, just like some of the Trek episodes out there. But when you find a gem, it's just awesome because you get to learn so much more about the characters. It's been a way for me to get more engaged with some of the characters for whatever reasons I couldn't get invested in them in some of the episodes. For example, Riker. I didn't hate the guy, but just some of the episodes I caught just didn't really appeal to me at the time. And it wasn't until Peter David's Zodi novel that I really grew to appreciate the character. And then when I go back to watch new episodes, I've grown to really care for the character. So yeah, I wouldn't so easily dismiss these titles because they have a lot of value. They're truly great finds if you find the right one for you. But yeah, thanks for watching. Live long and prosper.